Guys, this is one of the scariest charts in crypto right now. The SMC bot gave us a buy signal in the bear market last cycle, gave us a sell signal. Gave us a buy signal coming out of a bear market into the start of a bull run. Sell signal, start of the bear market. Bull run, this is where we bought Solana around $23, and bull run, right? Start of end of the bear market into the bull run. Phenomenal indicator. Is calling the bottom on so many crypto projects going from bear market into bull run. I love to look at it on the weekly. I love to zoom out, look at the bigger picture. There's some very scary patterns here. You can probably already see it. It's looking very similar to last cycle. Way too similar for me personally. And yeah, I'm a little bit concerned. We're going to talk about some of the TA. So basically, we've gone into this massive bull run. We've had a pullback into a relief rally. Massive bull run. Solana went up 3,000%. Everyone made a killing if you got in early. Relief rally. Pullback into relief rally, right? And if we look at these relief rallies, what's worrying about this is they're very similar. So this move here was 89-90% on this relief rally. And this pullback here was 89%. Like, you can't make it up. Not only does it look exactly the same, we got the same relief rally, the same crash, the same relief rally. The problem is, if we all-time high here, because it was the same as the previous cycle. So if we all-time high here and we don't go and make new highs, it's a massive problem. Because if this is your first cycle, what happens with these kind of plays is, because it done what it done last cycle and didn't outperform, people expect the crash to be similar to what happened last cycle. And, you know, I don't need to tell you guys what a crash it was, right? It came down from $257, down 96%, which a lot of altcoins do. And, it came down to $8, $9, $10. So today we're $170, and, I don't want to give you... This is max bear case, guys. Like, something bad would have to happen because this was the FTX collapse. That would bring us back down to, the normal $10. Before the FTX issue, the price was sitting around 45. So that was actually that's pretty much where the floor would have been or should have been, around 45, if we didn't have that FTX issue, which brought it down to majorly oversold. So it seems to me like history is repeating here, and it's not just this chart. I can see on a lot of charts. For a bull case, I really want to see Solana break out, right? Because I'm still holding some Solana. I took most of the profits off the table. We bought down here. My first sell alert was up here. The whole market was going parabolic in March, April last year. I sold a lot of my altcoins, actually. And then I sold again here, and we went parabolic. I buy in the bear market when everyone is scared, when everyone's panicking, when everything's crashing. It's the time to buy. And then what I do is I just sell into these relief rallies, and I hope we get another relief rally because I've still got one more DCA to do. But I'm not going to stick around and hold this to the ground, hoping that we have another relief rally if we do go into a bear market. Okay. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing next cycle, right? This is probably going to go into a bear market at some point. Maybe it's now, right, like this. Maybe we have a final blow off top, and it's like this. But at some point or another, most altcoins come down 80, 90, 95, some even 99%, and that's kind of what I'm waiting for. I can be patient because I know this market is heavily manipulated. Just like here, see this relief rally, everyone got bullish, everyone started to buy again, and then they literally nuked the price from $144 down to $25 in a very short amount of time. And I don't want to be holding that bag down because, as we know in this space, most people lose. How do we win? We take profits in the relief rallies. Right? This prevents us from ever losing, right, in crypto. And what happens in these relief rallies? Everyone starts calling for higher prices. Everyone expects the chart to go up only, and then the market comes and humbles you and completely wrecks you. And those who took profits win, and those who are left holding the bag have to wait another 4 years. And I don't want to put myself in that position where I'm waiting another 4 years. So very, very similar. Now look at this as well. We've got so much data on this chart, guys. Buy pressure here started to trickle up, right? On the first pullback, the buy pressure started to trickle up when it came down here. Then we went into this relief rally, okay, after this initial buy pressure came in. But the price continued to come down, right? And the smart money continued to accumulate all the way down. The smart money were just DCAing. You know, they know that when the price is down, they know that buying when the price is down 72% on an asset like Solana, a relatively lower risk asset, and obviously for those of us holding Solana, we're max bullish on Solana, right? We prefer it to Ethereum. We think that it's cheaper, faster, more scalable now with things like FireDancer. You know, it doesn't make sense for us to accumulate Ethereum. And if it's down 70, 80, 90%, I'm going to accumulate, right? It's a massive, massive discount. So the buy pressure down here almost looks like it's just started, right? It looks like we're in this period here on the buy pressure and the chart, right? Very, very similar. Now look at this as well, okay? So when we broke out and we really had this parabolic move to the upside, this is the bull run, right? Things just keep going up week after week after week. Things just keep going to the upside. It's not sustainable, and then you have retail flooding and retail buy the top, and then everybody sells and takes profit, and the retail get wrecked. And those that sell and don't come back end up losing forever, and those who accumulate the dip often end up making life-change gains the next cycle, right? So we all learn the hard way in our first cycle, and you know, in a second cycle you don't want to be making the same mistakes you made first cycle, right? So we had this parabolic move to the upside. We come down to this level of support and we break above and come down, okay? So parabolic run to the upside, we have this support, we break below and we come down. It's almost like we're retesting the support, guys. It's almost like we're retesting the support. It's a major, major level. Now I do know that it says buy on this weekly, and it would have said buy here as well, because if you see the green close above, on the weekly time frame, you see this red line? This is the resistance. Like the background is also telling you, hey, things are starting to look a bit bearish, mate. So you closed above this moving average, it turns green. It would have given a buy signal, but then it invalidated because it closed back below the following week. Okay, so you have to be very, very careful. These buy signals on the weekly time frame, I mainly use in the bear market, right? Sometimes I use them in a bull run. It depends on certain situations, but I mainly use them in the bull run as the signal to go heavy and start buying, right? Go heavy and start buying. This was 100x. I think this was a 10x. So yeah, I didn't have the SMC bot back here, but if I did, there was a buy signal on Solana which would have led to 100x. So it snaps to grid, and yeah, we do have that buy signal, but I'm kind of waiting to see how this plays out. You know, I do hope that it does rally and pushes to the upside and we can break through this resistance, because otherwise the previous targets but that to the downside are going to be taken into consideration, because the chart's performed very similar and hasn't really gone and surpassed the previous all-time high, because we did have this wick above but it closed straight back below, and we also broke below these key levels, right? We started to close weeklies below this key support here, which is not a good sign. It's a sign of weakness. The RSI is overbought on the weekly, so that's also not in our favor, right? So the RSI actually has a lot of room to cross over here and come to the downside, which could take us into lower prices. So yeah, it's a very scary chart, guys. It's a very scary chart, and the trend is your friend. And I've been saying pretty much all of the bull run to my guys in my Discord. This is the bull run trend line for Solana, okay? And I said, I'm not really going to worry until we start to close below this level. I did take profits here because BTC hit all-time high, and I always take profits when BTC goes from bear market to all-time high, and so do a lot of other people, and altcoins really dumped after that level. And I said, I'm not really going to worry until we close below this. And luckily, I actually did take the other 30%. So I think I've done 30% or 33% here. Then the other 30% here. Luckily, it could have broken out. Pigs get slaughtered. I didn't want to be too greedy. We were trying to close above. Everyone was getting bullish. And I was just like, there's too much euphoria here. We're back in greed. Everyone's bullish. I'm going to take my other 30%. I still have my the rest of it, and I am every day, guys, just like, maybe I should just sell it all because it looks so similar. But I'm gonna wait. I am gonna wait to see how things play out because we're still waiting for the USA ETF to get rolled out, and I just hope that ETF gets rolled out in the bear market. I would rather. Because if the ETF gets rolled out, it's going to be very hard to trade. You're going to have ETF inflows, then retail are going to sell, and the whales that have been holding since $8, who are up like $100 million, are going to start selling. It's going to be choppy. It's going to be really difficult to trade. Whereas if we can go into a bear market and find some support, and then we know the ETF is coming, right? Oh, what a time to accumulate. What a time to accumulate if we know that the ETF is eventually coming in the following cycle and the institutions are going to be buying. That's what I'd love to see. But yeah, it might not be that easy. The ETF might get approved and we might see tons of inflows because a lot of money was coming out of Ethereum, right? And we can see a lot of institutional money starting to flow towards Solana. So am I going to buy in the bear market? It's on the list to accumulate. I don't have any certainties, right? So when the bear market comes, it's not I'm going to buy Sui, I'm going to buy Solana. Look what just happened to Sui with the hack, right? Anything can change between now and the bear market. So people say to me, what are you buying? What are you looking at buying? Absolutely nothing right now. Like, why would I accumulate things that might potentially get hacked or might have terrible roadmaps, terrible plans? Maybe I look on chain and some of the co-founders are selling the token, like we looked at recently. Some of these projects like Spec, for example. I like to do deep dives when I'm about to buy. So in these periods here, when we start to get this sideways consolidation, I like to do deep dives. Sometimes I won't wait for the buy signal on the SMC bot, but it gives me like the heads up that, okay, it looks like we're at the start of the bull run and I can take long positions here. I can add to my bag. I can go in heavy. If I don't think there's going to be any more downside and I still had some dry powder, I might as well put the rest of my dry powder in when we get that buy signal from the SMC bot, right? So looks very very similar to last cycle, quite scary. I want to see us get above, hold above, start pushing up, okay? Because then it's going to be different to last cycle because we didn't do that. We didn't close above and then hold up and start to do this, right? So I want to see something different because there's way too many similarities here. And if we go into a bear market, many people, as soon as we lose this level, it's lights out, guys. If we lose this level, it's literally lights out, and we're going to be looking for bear market lows. And this is actually cool. Look at this. The previous pump here would line up with this support here, because this was the FTX collapse, right? So we can pretty much ignore this low, and I think we're going to have a lot of support at $50. Right, I think we're going to have a lot of support at $50, and I'd be happy to buy Solana at $50 because if it dropped to 40 or to 30, I just allocate more. What would be cool is if it drops to $50. It drops to $50. The SMC weekly rolls around like it did last cycle, like this. See, like this. It starts to get the reverse, and then bang, we know we're getting closer to the start of the next bull run. And if it comes down to $50. Like if it does this, that's going to be the ultimate signal, man. That's going to be the ultimate signal. I'd put on a very, very big long position because, as you know, with these bear markets, they go forever. They last for absolutely ever. Everyone loses their mind. People go chasing new meme coins. They start to sell their low-risk assets because they're just boring. They miss the adrenaline, and everyone starts to leave, or loads of people start to leave. And then out of nowhere, the bull market starts again, and we have this like explosion in a few weeks. Where if you bought this dip, if you put $1,000 in here in January 23, by March 24, just over a year later, you had $20,000 in a year, right? $20,000 in a year. Where else can you do that? And if you put 10,000 in here, you had $200,000 in a year. And I'm going to be putting a lot more than $10,000 in Solana in the bear market, right? So if I put 100K in here, I would have had $2 million a year later, just from risking 100K, okay? In a pretty relatively low risk asset that was down 95%, 96%. Because if it's down 96%, how much more downside do we have, guys? It's down 96%. It can only come down another 3% to 99%, okay? Because it's only going down 100% if it goes into liquidation, right? So the risk, people say, people get more scared down here to buy than they are up here, right? When we were taking profits, people were saying to me, I'm not selling, I'm holding, I'm taking profits. I'm like, guys, have you seen the chart? And when we come down here, you will not believe how many people are scared to buy at a 96% discount or a 90% discount or an 80% discount, wherever we end up. It's absolutely wild. People really switch. People are switching to bear mode down here. They get so bearish. People were calling for $5. There was a massive trader. What's his name? I forget his name. He was trading Solana, and he started shorting around these levels. He was shorting at these levels, even though it was down 90%. It's like, mate, why weren't you shorting up here? Like, why aren't you shorting up here? This makes much more sense to me, right? We shorted Solana at $250. And, we made a killing shorting altcoins up here. We made a killing shorting altcoins up here. It doesn't make sense to short when everything's so red. It makes sense to buy. So, yeah, never underestimate how bearish people will get when we start to go into a bear market. It's very hard to sell in the pumps. And it wasn't easy for me to sell here, right? I was also feeling a lot of the euphoria. But you just have to be self-aware and zoom out, look at the bigger picture, don't be greedy, count your blessings that you're up massively, and save it for the bear market, right? Most of the money I made here is going back into Bitcoin. I'm only putting small percentages into altcoins, but most of the money, I traded Solana so that I could buy Bitcoin pretty much and accumulate more Bitcoin. So yeah, it's weird. It's like when you go into a bear market, it's like the only shopping market in the world where everything goes on discount and no one wants to buy, right? No one wants to touch it. But those who take the risk, more often than not, end up making generational wealth. And can you imagine, like, going into, you want to get an iPhone, like, you're really interested in an iPhone. It's all the rage, it's really popular. And then a few weeks later, you see that there's a 90% discount on the latest iPhones. And you're like, can you imagine being like, I don't want to buy this anymore. I've really gone off it. It's the price has gone down. There must be something wrong with it. It doesn't make sense, right? Yeah, it's crazy. It's the only supermarket in the world where when there's a discount, no one wants to scoop. But I'll be scooping. I can't wait to build another portfolio because we had some gems this cycle, man, like Casper done a 25x, Render done a 25x, Solana, Render, Tau, even like things like Injective and Stacks done some gains. I didn't get the gains I wanted to see from Stacks and Injective and stuff like that, but I didn't make a loss. That's the good thing, right? As long as I come in and I make money, I'm happy. And it's about spreading the risks. Nobody knew that Casper was going to do, I think it done like a 30, 40x in the end, but nobody knew Casper was going to do those kind of returns, which is why I have Injective, right? I'm spreading my bets in case. I brought Injective because we had loads of institutional interest all of a sudden. This was before the ETF was launched. And I was looking for institutional grade projects, and Inj was one of the main ones. And it didn't really catch wind. A lot of altcoins didn't catch wind. Render, obviously, I got because we were going into an AI narrative, and AI processing was going to require a lot of power. So yeah, it's about sort of thinking Solana's a no-brainer, but it's about what's going to be the narrative next cycle. What projects are people going to be interested in? Obviously, we're going into a very institutional cycle, and we know that they're really keen on stable coins. Are there any kind of projects in that sort of niche? I'm going to be doing a lot of this deep dive in the bear market. It's not really worth worrying about it now. We might continue to push to the upside, or we might actually get a reversal here. Nobody knows. I am leaning to a crash, as you know, with a lot of the on-chain analysis I've done. It is kind of indicating that between June and October, we are going to see the bear market. Okay, maybe the start of the bear market or the actual bear market. So it's not a time that I really want to be taking too many risks personally. I've already taken 75% cash. If we lose this level, I'm probably out of everything, right? Because if we lose this level on Solana, it means that BTC is coming down, the market's coming down, Ethereum will be coming down. It looks like the start of the bear market if we lose this level. And this was the first red flag, right? When we got the sell signal from the SMC Weekly, we clearly lost this support, and the trend is your friend until the end. Trend is your friend until the end. We lose support, it's likely we're going into bearish times. We've lost support, guys, and we're repeating the same pattern that we had last cycle. I hope I'm wrong. I do hope I'm wrong. And I hope that it's up only. I just hope we don't get that ETF until with a bear market. That would be lovely. Guys, if you want to get involved with us, if you want the SMC bot, so if you want to get this on your own trading view, you don't have to have a paid trading view. It's absolutely free to use in a free trading view. The bot's not free. It comes with the Discord free. You can just type in the coin you want to look at, and it snaps the grid, right? It gives buy and sell signals on the daily, 4 hourly, weekly, if you're whatever you are, a day trader. I'm more of a macro swing trader, so I like to trade these big swings. Like we got Sui down here at 0.85, rally to the upside, sold it, went short, crashed to the downside, bought it, went long, pumped to the upside. Trend is your friend until the end. We're bouncing off the SMC daily, and we're either going to keep bouncing like this, so it's a long until proven otherwise, or we're going to close below and get another sell signal. Okay, so I really, really like just going with the bot sometimes, because it snaps you out of that greed, euphoria, despair. It says, look, mate, I know you're bullish. I know everyone up here, everyone was talking about Sui to $10, right? Everyone was giga bullish. It was insane, the euphoria. But actually, the bot is saying, hey, mate, this is actually the best time to sell. Everyone's bullish. We're back in extreme greed. Everyone is saying up only. This is the time when actually smart money start taking profits and they actually start selling. And it helps you snap out of that despair and euphoria and make better decisions. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, guys, so do your own research. Investing in crypto is highly risky. You can lose all your money investing in crypto or stocks or anything. So always do your own research before taking any trades. So here is my X account. Head over there, drop a follow, and you can see here to get involved with us. Click on the Patreon. And in there you can join the private Discord where I post my buy and sell alerts. Maybe I can show you some here. Yeah, so you can see my buy and sell alerts that I post, like sell alert spec. I'm tracking a lot of on-chain accounts, so some strange activity going down with deployer wallets. Like I'm tracking the team and founders. This is another thing I do. I don't just buy because the market's down. It's a bear market. I'll actually look on chain. And the cool thing about this is one of the reasons I did take profits on Solana and a lot of these assets is the smart money was selling, right? The whales and insiders were selling as well. So not only do we have the bot that helps us, I can go, oh, we've got to sell on the daily. Okay, let me go and look on chain. Oh, right, I can see actually a lot of the co-founders have started to sell. They've started to move a lot of their money to Bybit. The other smart money haven't actually seen this yet or whatever. And it really helps us make decision because this asset, this project spec is down 96%, guys. You know, if you had $100,000 in this project, it's now $6,000. How sickening would that feel? And it's no joke, this game. You really have to be on the ball. And so many people held spec down to the ground. All the KOLs were shilling it and talking about it. And, you know, you can't sit and hold and hope, right? You can't hold and hope because if I had, let's say I had 10 grand in here and I took a 20% loss, great, that's fine. I've still got my $8,000 to trade with, right? I can go and take that 8,000, I can put it into Render, I can put it into Casper, I can try and buy the dip on something. Maybe I go and buy D-Wave, put 8,000 into D-Wave, D-Wave just done 300%. Great, now I've got 24 grand. Instead of holding and hoping spec, because the data actually said that the team was selling, the insiders were selling. I've now got that money to actually go and deploy. I should do a video on spec actually, because this is a good subject and I think it's going to help a lot of people in the next bull run. But yeah, I've now got that 8K to go and deploy elsewhere. Whereas if I hadn't have sold and I had my 10K and I was like, oh, I'm not selling this dip, I like this project, it could do well, I've got a lot of hope. My 10K came down to $600 if I had have held from the top, right? $600, man. And you know how many gains you need to make to get back to that 10K? Or even up to the 8K, because if you'd need to make a 10x on your $600 just to get back to 6,000. So almost an 18, 19x just to get back to where you were in your initial investment. And it's very hard to make an 18, 19x, right? I would sell my entire portfolio next cycle if I'd done an 18, 19x. That's how hard it is to get back up to those levels. So yeah, cutting your losses sometimes is a way to make money, right? The amount of money I've made from cutting my losses on some of these projects on the way down has been the reason I still have money to play with. I still have money to trade with. So don't forget, guys, if you want to get involved with us, if you want to see the buy and sell alerts, head over to my Discord. Here you can see my alert for D-Wave at $6.10. I think it went up to $20 the other day. Yeah, that's it. Don't forget to like and subscribe on the video so you don't miss out on any of these videos. And until then, I will catch you in the next one.